let me hear say well. They say boom boom boom, now everybody say well. They say boom boom boom, now let me hear say well.
Hello everyone, my name is Nintendo DS, and welcome back to World of 3-Shot Aces. RNG Jesus fired 4 shots that game, of which 3 hit the target, and apparently with 3 shots hitting the target, you get an ace. Who says artillery is completely balanced in the world of nowadays world of tanks? But that's okay, RNG Jesus has to have his luck one day, and he used it all up. However, this is me playing in the T-54E1. You saw the news episode of that last Sunday, playing at the stock gun. This game was played, I believe, 2 days later. I had the gun fully upgraded. Everything is fully upgraded on this tank right now. There will be the news update video of that coming out soon, 2 weeks. I already have the T-57 Heavy. I mean, I power grinded my way through that tank. You'll hear that later on somewhere in the world of the news videos. And I am currently reloading. And the problem with the T-54E1 is the reload is about 32 seconds. And at this point, I tabbed out. We weren't really going to get pushed because we had taken the dip. And seeing as the enemy also doesn't have artillery, they're not going to push out. So I just sort of tabbed out and checked the news. That's the reason why I'm still standing still at this point. I usually was like, well, I'm reloading, might as well take a short nap or see what happened in the world. Ah, there we are, I'm back, I'm fully reloaded, I'm loaded APCR because this tank has terrible gun penetration values. 210 with its AP is rather bad if I'm really honest. It's not great. If anything, I really disliked it. Because it is an autoloader, yay. It has 390 alpha on each of its shells, pretty good. It has 210 millimeters of penetration. That is bad. I mean, it's good for kind of the balancing factor of this tank. I mean, it has really good clip potential, but it kind of ends there because it doesn't have the accuracy with 0.38. It does not have the aim time with almost 2.7 seconds. Its time between shells is good, but the aim time is longer than the time between shells. If you're trying to snipe, like I'm trying to do here with the T-30, it's just not really happening. I just have to wait longer than my reload time to actually get all the shells out. In this situation, I might as well be a 5120 because the aim time is better than the reloading between shots. If I would compare the T-54E1 with the other 2 autoloading tier 9 medium tanks, the Bat-Chat-Tignon 25T AP and the Skoda T50, its clip potential is lower than the Bat-Chat, higher than the Skoda T50. Its reload time is worse than the Skoda T50 and better than the Bat-Chat. Its clip potential is okay. The Skoda T50 is all about sniping, being a second line sniper, fast reload, pew pew pew, run away. It's a fast tank. The Bat-Chat-Tignon is a possible scout tank that has a lot of clip potential with 1800 damage. It is a fast tank, doesn't have armor. You're supposed to be an assassin, get in, fire all your shells and get out. The T-54E1 is it's like a medium tank, but it feels like a heavy tank. But it isn't actually a heavy tank, because it doesn't have the armor. The Skoda T50 and the Bat-Chat-Tignon are not supposed to have armor, they have the speed. They are assassins and or snipers. The T-54E1 is not any of them, if I'm really honest. It cannot snipe with 0.38 accuracy, and it cannot be an assassin with 1560 clip potential. It cannot run away fast with 43 kilometers an hour, so it cannot be an assassin, like I said before. It's not anything. It is like I said, it is just a preparation for the T-57 Heavy, but with worse armor. Yes, you have 152 millimeters in the front of your turret, but that doesn't counter anything in the tier 10 and the tier 9 match with tanks that actually have penetration. I mean, the T-54E1, it has 210 with AP, it can penetrate itself in the turret, so what's the point? I might as well be playing a Bat-Chat 25T AP. That has no armor, but it is fast. I can go around the battlefield. And it's sluggish as well. The Skoda T50 has 26 horsepower per ton ratio. The Bat-Chat-Tignon 21.9. T-54E1 15. It is severely lacking in speed and thus mobility. It is severely lacking in gun handling. It does have 8 degrees of gun depression, but so does the Skoda T50. So, it's not a sniper, it's not an assassin. In this tank, I feel that you always have to go with the heavy tanks and then get your clip out and then wait for the heavy tanks to take the shots. It is a wannabe heavy tank, and it cannot really go with the mediums. it doesn't feel like a medium tank. It would actually be a better tank if it was designated as a heavy. In my honest opinion, the T-54E1 is like no other tank. It is a unique tank at tier 9, if I'm really honest. It is more comparable to the 5120 than to any other tank at tier 9. But that's the Americans. The Americans are jack of all trades, master of none. They're not good at anything. They don't excel. Yet they work, and even a tank that is seemingly bad or worse at anything else than its counterpart can have good games if you know how to play it. And I did not know how to play this tank. I had a lot of trouble figuring out how to play this tank. I only ever aced it twice playing it so far, and well, this was one of them. Welcome back, ye landlubbers, to the Jaegeru. I am playing the Jaegeru with a reason. I wanted to complete TD15 for the T55A. That is 6k damage, and for its secondary, which I kinda want because of the accommodation for the T55A, yes, I still don't have it, I'm okay with that, I suck at World of Tanks. I have to get 3 kills. But the main reason why I am doing TD15 is because I want that female crew member. I have been saving up for the Swedish tanks. I want a female crew in my STRV 103 S tank. I want it in my S tank. So I have a female crew member ready on the medium tanks. I still have to do the medium tank mission with honors, but I do have a female crew member waiting. So I wanted to get the TD15 done, so I have my second female crew member. And then I have to suddenly figure out how to do SPG-15 for the T-28 HTC to get my third female crew members. The Swedish tanks, the TDs, will have 3 crew members, the higher tier ones at least. So that's what I'm aiming for. So me trying to do TD-15, I'm going to fire a bit of heat. If you are not a fan of me spamming 420mm of heat penetration into my enemies, I suggest you look away for about half this game. Because I want to do this mission. I've been trying to do this mission for quite some time. For a long time, I had this mission just ready to be done, but I couldn't be bothered with the missions anymore. They would only be rage-inducing in my opinion. Trying to get something done with the matchmaking, trying to FU, enemy tanks not cooperating with you, just slamming out damage into them. It kind of annoyed me. So for a very, very long time, I took a pause from actually trying to do the missions. I mean, I am still stuck on Light Tank 7 for the T-55A, which is spot 3 enemy SPG and do crit or damage to them. That mission just pisses me off to no extent, because I have come close to it many times now. And every time where I would have to shoot the last enemy SPG to do the mission, it would derp me in the face. There would be no escape of the RNG that would come at me trying to do that mission. But that is fine. I am going to just take a longer break from trying to do the mission. I will get the T-55A one day. I'm not going to even bother with the Object 260. That tank, it's too much effort, in my opinion, to actually try and get. And speaking of tier 10 reward tanks, if you've not been living under a rock for the last 2 weeks, no more of 1 week. Yeah, I'd say 1.5 weeks by now. The 5th campaign has been announced, and I am not a stranger to campaigns on this channel. I have made videos on the Operation Typhoon, Operation Black Gold. This campaign, the 5th campaign, Steel Corrida, which basically means Steel Bull or Steel Bullfight. It has multiple meanings apparently that other people try to invent, but the meaning that Wargaming is going with is Steel Bull. Is the 5th campaign that will be taking place, I believe, somewhere in Spain. Not quite sure. Anyway, the reward tanks that you know so far are the M60, the VK7201, which will apparently get a buff in the super test to 240mm frontal armor, so it might actually be pretty good. The T95E6, which was the 4th campaign's new reward tank. The Object 907, which I got from last campaign, the Black Gold campaign. And the new kid on the block, the 121B, Chinese tier 10 medium tank with 5 degrees of gun depression, 113mm of frontal hull armor, and a 105mm gun. 390 alpha damage, really good aim time, really good dispersion values. DPM is what breaks that tank. Its DPM is lower than most tier 9 390 alpha medium tank guns. So if I was to get a tank, I'm not certain I will, because every single time a campaign is a scary thing that will last a month. This is one of the big ones, tier 6, tier 8 and tier 10. I will be making videos of it. I asked permission from John Harmon and he said, yeah, sure, go ahead with it. I don't know what that accent was. But I will be making videos on the Steel Cadita campaign. And like I said, I'm not sure if I will get a reward tank, but if I get a reward tank, I might actually be choosing the 121B, because I don't want the VK7201 because I've got the E100 and hopefully soonish in the future the Mouse. I'm not interested in American medium tanks. I've got the 907, so the 121B is the only logical choice for me, if I'm really honest. And the 130mm frontal armor actually looks really interesting. Angled build, it has up to 250 to 300mm effective. It's good enough to bounce tier 10 tank destroyers, for crying out loud. So I am actually really quite excited for this campaign. But going back to this Jaeger game, no one has to shoot this Tiger for me to do 6k damage and do TD15. No one shoot this Tiger 2, please shoot the CDC. This game is lost. This was heartbreaking for me because this was the closest I've been to doing TD15. I can shoot the Tiger 2 to get a bit of extra damage, and I'm still about 400 damage away from doing the mission.